What is the most likely source of hepatitis in this image?
When using a grinder or cut-off saw, what type of eye protection should be worn? Reading glasses or sunglasses? Welding goggles? Light eye protection, safety, impact-rated goggles or full face shield? Who is responsible for reporting any unsafe conditions on site? Everyone on the construction site. The site manager. The contracts manager. The client or principal contractor.
Exposure to asbestos fibres may result in which illness? Heart disease, skin cancer, lung cancer, dermatitis.
You witness a serious accident on site. What immediate action should you take? Give 2 answers. Record the date and time in the incident book. Check if it is safe to approach the injured person. Sit the injured person up and give them food and water. Lift the injured person and take them to the site office. Call out to other workers so they can call for help. Under environmental law, which of the following statements is true? Only directors can be prosecuted if they do not follow the law. Only companies can be prosecuted if they do not follow the law. Only employees can be prosecuted if they do not follow the law. Companies and employees can be prosecuted if they do not follow the law.
Which method is used to check if a residual current device, RCD, connected to a power tool is working? Press the test button on the RCD. Run the tool at top speed to see if it cuts out. Switch the tool on and off. Use a handheld RCD test meter.
When drilling, cutting, sanding or grinding, what is the best way to protect your long-term health from harmful dust? Use dust extraction or wet cut and wear a dust mask. Use dust extraction or wet cut and wear FFP3 rated respiratory protective equipment, RPE. Wear any disposable respiratory protective equipment, RPE. Wear FFP3 rated respiratory protective equipment, RPE. Which of the following would help to protect the environment? Saving water and energy wherever possible. Keeping to the health and safety rules. Arriving on time for work every day. Keeping accurate timesheets.
You need to move a load that might be too heavy for you. What 3 methods could you use? Ask someone to help you. Use an aid, such as a trolley or wheelbarrow. Test the load's weight by picking it up for a short time. Drag the load to avoid lifting it. Divide the load into smaller loads if possible.
If you have to use a vibrating tool, what would you expect your supervisor to do? Watch you using the tool to assess the level of vibration. Explain safe methods of use and give advice on exposure times. Measure the level of vibration every time you use the tool. Ask you to make up your own safe system of work for use of the tool.
What is the correct way to climb a ladder? Having 3 points of contact with the ladder at all times. By having 2 people on the ladder at all times. Only using the ladder when wearing a safety harness. Having 2 points of contact with the ladder at all times.
What 2 things should you do if you need to run an electrical cable across an area used by vehicles? Run the cable at head height. Cover the cable with a protective ramp. Put up a sign that says ramp ahead. Cover the cable with scaffold boards. Wrap the cable in yellow tape so that drivers can see it.
When fumes are present, which is the most dangerous area to work in? On-site outside. In a wooden building. A confined space. An open space. Which one of the following describes the role of a vehicle marshaller? Provide training on how to drive manual plant. Manage incident response documentation. Support safe vehicle movements on site. Control the movement of cranes on site. A worker is storing materials above toe board height on a scaffold. How should people below be protected? Use a brick guard or suitable mesh netting. Use string to secure the materials. Halt the work when people are approaching. Shout a warning to anyone passing below. What should a worker do if they feel the task they are doing is no longer safe because of weather conditions? Stop working immediately and inform the supervisor. Carry on working because they are following the method statement. Carry on working if others are doing so. Work until the end of the day, then tell the supervisor.
A mobile access tower must not be used on what surface? A smooth concrete path. A paved patio. Soft or uneven ground. An asphalt road.
Where vehicles tip materials into excavations, what could be used as a safety precaution? Extra speakers. Stop blocks. Flashing lights. A siren.
To help protect outdoor workers from the risk of skin cancer from sun exposure, what should be worn? A small amount of deodorant and vest tops. extra moisturizer on the face and short-sleeved shirts, low-factor tanning oil and short-sleeved shirts, high-factor sunscreen and long-sleeved clothing.
What is one of the best ways to overcome negative workplace attitudes about mental health issues? Tell workmates that you are an expert in mental health issues. Make sure no one with a mental health issue gets hired. Avoid talking about it and the problem will resolve itself. Talk and listen about mental health openly and without judgment.
If someone is injured at work, who should record it in the accident book? The company contract manager. Someone from the Health and Safety Executive, HSE. The injured person or someone acting for them. The first aider identified on site.
Why is overexposure to vibratory tools and equipment a serious issue? The long-term effects of vibration are not known. There are no early warning signs of damage caused by vibration. Vibration can cause disabling health conditions that cannot be cured. There is no way that exposure to vibration can be prevented.
Who should check a ladder before it is used? The site manager, the person who is going to use it, the manufacturer, a site safety officer.
When should you apply barrier cream to your skin? As part of first aid treatment. When you can't find your gloves. Before you start work. When you finish work. When working with materials creating dust, what should be monitored? The smell the dust creates. The level of exposure to the dust. The direction in which the dust travels. The color of dust created.
Which of these statements with reference to emergency procedures is correct? They should not be changed without notice. They should not be updated and checked. They should not be clear and easily understandable. They should not be discussed with the workforce. Mobile plant on site should be refueled by whom? A supervisor or manager? Only authorized people. Anyone who is asked to. Only the driver. What should be done before adjusting an electric hand tool? You should never adjust an electric hand tool yourself. Switch it off and remove the plug from the socket. Put tape over the power switch before adjusting. Switch it off, but leave the plug in the socket.
Which one of the following is true of the symptoms of stress? They are the same for everybody. They take a while to develop. They always develop very quickly. They can be different for each individual.
What should workers follow whilst at work to meet their health and safety duties? The actions of their workmates. A safe system of work agreed with the employer. Their gut feeling on safe practices. Direct orders from the Health and Safety Executive, HSE. What is the most important reason why people should be trained and competent before they are allowed to enter a confined space? Confined spaces are only found on house building sites. Confined spaces never contain breathable air. Confined space entrants need to understand the potential hazards. Confined spaces always contain flammable or explosive gases. Exposure to which of the following is most likely to result in dermatitis? Wet cement, glass, heavy brick, dry wood.
Which two actions could help minimize waste? Only take what you need and return or reseal anything left over. Leave bags of cement and plaster out in the rain unprotected. Always take more than required, just in case you need it. Reuse offcuts, such as half bricks, rather than discarding them. Use new materials at the beginning of each day.
What is the main immediate hazard from kneeling directly on wet cement? Eczema, skin rash, skin burns, dermatitis. A worker spills a large quantity of petrol on their clothes when refueling a piece of equipment. What should they do? Wipe it off with a cloth. Change their clothes immediately. Nothing. It will evaporate quickly. Put some other clothes on top. What should you do if you need to carry a load down a steep slope? Carry the load on your shoulder. Walk backwards down the slope to help you balance. Put the load down and let gravity move it down the slope. Assess whether you can still carry the load safely.
If you have to work outdoors in bad weather, why should your employer supply you with waterproof clothing? To protect you from the weather, which will reduce trips and falls. To protect you from the weather, as you are less likely to get muscle strains if you are warm and dry. To keep you warm and dry so you are less likely to catch Weil's disease, leptospirosis. To keep you warm and dry so you take fewer breaks.
What should you do if your permit to work in a confined space will run out before you finish the task you are carrying out? Carry on working until the job is finished. Hand the permit over to the next shift. Ask your supervisor to change the date on the permit. Leave the confined space before the permit runs out.
After watching you work, a Health and Safety Executive, HSE, inspector issues an improvement notice. What does this mean? You need to improve the standard of your work. You are not working in a safe way. Your work has improved since the last visit. You are not working fast enough.
You see a lorry parking and it has a flat tire. Why should you tell the driver? The driver will need to travel at a much slower speed. It could be unsafe to drive the lorry. The lorry can only carry small loads. More fuel will be used by the lorry. According to the work at height regulations, when can ladders be used for work? If it is high-risk work for long periods of time. When other people do not need to use it for access. A ladder must never be used on site. If it is low-risk work for a short period of time. A worker with a full UK driving licence has been asked to move a machine they have never been trained on. What should the worker do? They can move the machine as they have a full UK driver's licence. Explain that they are not trained and competent to move it. Move the machine as long as there is a vehicle marshaller. Move the machine as long as there is no one else near it.
Evacuation routes should be used as assembly points, clear and unobstructed, lit at all times of the day, painted bright green.
Why should you not walk behind a lorry when it is reversing? The driver is unlikely to know you are there. You will need to run, not walk, to get past it in time. Most lorries are not fitted with mirrors. Most lorry drivers aren't very good at reversing. Which of the following best describes the purpose of personal fall prevention equipment? It is designed to prevent falls from occurring. It is designed to minimize the consequences if a fall occurs. It is designed to protect more than one person if a fall occurs. It is designed to be used in confined spaces only.
What is the main risk to this worker wearing only these items of personal protective equipment, PPE? Eye injuries, cuts and abrasions to skin, breathing in harmful dust, damage to hearing.
Which one of the following is the most serious consequence of regularly breathing in construction dust? Life-shortening illness, collapsed lung, having to take time off work, getting asthma. What system is a method of dust control? Damp extraction system, ducted heating system, humidifying system, on-tool extraction system.
Which sign is categorized as a prohibition sign?